Everyone. A warm welcome to everyone. Namaskar. Today's topic what we are going to talk about is the IoT-based smart monitoring that will cover many basic concepts like the IoT, what exactly is that, and how it is being used. The medium for this conversation will be all in English or Hindi if you want. Uh, and at the same time, please be feel free to ask any question in the chat box. We'll take up the questions as and when it. Let's make it more interactive. So as soon as you have any doubt, please put a question there in the chat box. So, or if you have any particular question to ask right now, what is your expectation from this seminar or webinar? Please do let us know. We'll try to address as many as question as possible. And if you have some question, we can take it offline as well. So welcome everyone again. My name is Manish Jain. I'm a co-founder of Faraday Systems, and we have been working in IoT domain for various domains. Including the process industry, consumer appliances, automotives, and various textile and many other industries. So just to start with, I would like to touch the base with what exactly is the IoT. The concept of IoT is now, everyone knows that IoT is the new technology in the domain of manufacturing and consumer domain as well. IoT is basically Internet of Things. So right now we have internet which is being used by a human being, like for communication over mail, chatting, so many apps, mobile app. Everything is based on the internet working. Now, in the next phase, this IoT is for Internet of Things, where all the things will be connected to internet and they will be talking to each other. So in the future, we'll just see that fridge will be talking to the TV, and TV is talking to the microwave oven, and your doorbell will be talking to everyone, something like that. Everything will be on the internet. But right now we are focused for the industrial IoT. In industry, the things are machines, are sensors, are various utility section, uh, some softwares like ERP. So all of these will be connected together. So once we'll have one channel where these devices or these software or these machines will be talking, will be sharing their health, will be sharing their information about the production and other thing. So we will have a flow of data. This data will be very useful when we want to analyze how the performance has been, and how we can increase the productivity, or reduce the cost. So I would like to take one analogy here. We all know that, we have seen nowadays people wear this smart band, right? So this slide shows that there is a, we all are human, and we are just like, we are not producing anything. We are doing work, but we are not producing any data. The moment we wear this smart band, we start producing data about our heart rate, blood oxygen, blood pressure, and so many other things. And these are very vital parameters for our health. Now, by having this smart band, we start producing that data, and using that data we can analyze how many steps we have run, how many calories we have burned, and what our heart rate has been. So before having any problem, we can diagnose our body very well. So and there will be a record of all that data, and we can analyze uh, in case of any problem, or in general being. So nowadays, if you see, many people are flaunting that they have burned say 500 calories throughout the day, and they have run for 10,000 steps and all that thing. So this is the result of awareness. So before wearing this smart band, they could not know. I mean, everybody knew that, I mean, they are working hard and they are doing some exercise. But now, the moment you start measuring using some device, your perception towards the healthcare is entirely different. Same is the case with industries, right? Our machines produce the product, right? I mean, be it via injection molding machine or any type of machine, so it produces some product. The moment we put some sensors or the IoT device, what it starts producing the data. And this data is very, very important, not only for understanding the health of the machine, but also to reduce the cost and future breakdown, predictive maintenance. So there are n number of benefits. And I mean, that is on the operation side. From the corporate side, it is very helpful in the sense that you will know what exactly is the cost of your production. So what is my cost of producing one single job? So once I have that cost in my fixed, so I can load that cost into the cost of the product. So if I'm selling that cost, I mean, I can just understand that I can sell it for slightly cheaper price because my cost of production is less. So I can pass on the benefit to the customer, and as a result, I can increase my customer base. At the same time, if I'm incurring more cost, I may be charging the customer very less. So I can compare and I can just work out for the right pricing. So the idea behind this IoT and Industry 4.0, it's basically let your machine, let your utility, let your plant start producing data. The more the data, and the more you can optimize your process. There is a difference now. I mean, you start getting data, lots and lots of data. If you have a pile of data, and I mean, after that, what we can do with this data? You have to convert that data into information. How? There are some analytics for each and every type of processes. Now, here, I mean, especially for today's seminar, I mean, we are focused. I mean, later on, I mean, we can take for productivity, where many productivity related things will be discussed. How we can increase the productivity using IoT and Industry 4.0. And we can take this maintenance as well, how Industry 4.0 or IoT can help in reducing your maintenance effort and maintenance cost. So today, as the topic of the webinar is focused on the electricity point of view only. I mean, energy. So basically, in industry, I mean, if we see, there are two major domains of energy consumption or energy production. One is the utility section, and is the production. By utility, it means that we have electrical energy source. Like, I mean, there are we have source from distribution companies. We have source of DGs, I mean, or the auxiliary power, diesel generator, gas generator, or the solar. And the third is like UPS, a standby power. And the other is like another energy which we provide is a compressed air. I mean, this is the energy which is supplied to each and, I mean, most of the machines, because most of the machine requires compressed air in form of I mean, some kind of movement. Like, I mean, we have this pneumatic screwdriver, pneumatic wrench, and so many tools are there, and most of the machines are movement is using the compressed air. So that is another form of energy which is generated by the utility section using the compressors. The third one is the steam. I mean, it's not used in all the industry, but most of the process industries, they all have the steam power. Wherever you need high calorie temperature, and and easy to transport, it's very easy to transport communicate this energy media, and it is very fast. So this is another source of energy which comes under the utility section. Now, utility, I mean, which generally falls in maintenance and utility in a single department in most of the industries. So this department's main concern is their main concern is the safety of the equipment. I mean, safety of the plant and the power quality, because they are like energy supplier to the production unit, right? I mean, the production area. Now, the quality of power which they are supplying, it has to be, first of all, it has to be very good quality. It should be stable. It should be safe, and of course, at the same time, they have to work out for the cost of the energy, because they are procuring the energy from outside and they are supplying it to the production area. So they have to maintain the record of the cost of energy which they are using. And for production, it is I mean, they need energy for machines, material handling. I mean, conveyors are there. So many machines are there. I mean, these are all production specific energy consumption. So in energy audit, for example, whenever if you have done some kind of energy audit, then you may have seen that there are energy auditors. They audit utility section first and then the production section. And in most of the cases, like, I mean, the production is more of very specific to their domain. So in case of audits, they need very specialized information about the production. But one basic information which is very, very vital for production is that the per specific energy consumption. So when this in case of production, one parameter which we can easily work on for the energy consumption is a specific energy consumption is like for each machine how much energy it is consuming in order to produce the single product. So now we have already discussed about two major domains. One is the utility, another is the production. The utility section, the power quality is very important, the safety of the power is important, and the cost of the power is very important. In case of production, they require the energy consumption per job which is produced. That is the major thing. I mean, if they start benchmarking this specific parameter, they can reduce the cost of production. Now, this platform which we are talking about, I mean, the major thing is like why this platform is required. Now, this is a unified platform where all the energy or the power information is collected at a single point, and at the same time, the data which is collected, it should be exportable with third-party softwares or third-party system, or I mean, nowadays the integration with the mobile device or the internet based application, web-based application. So all that integration should be there. Now, this integration, I mean, I'm going slightly on the IT side. This integration requires. I tell you one example. We run Gmail on mobile phone as well as on the laptop, right? These are two different platforms. One is Android or iOS, another is Windows or Linux, right? But the way Gmail works is that the protocol, I mean, the communication between the Gmail and the mobile phone and the Gmail with the laptop is same. So exactly the same way, this system should be able to communicate to other devices in a seamless manner. So for that, there are certain data formats are available. I mean, which is driven by internet bodies. So this platform uses these data format, which are known as Web API, JSON, and XML. I mean, these are technical terms, but the platform which provides all that data in open platform, it can be integrated. So if you have an ERP system like SAP or Oracle Apps or third-party ERP system, so this data can be sent to the that ERP system easily. So if you want to integrate with anything, and it can be integrated. In the meantime, if you have any question, please do let me know. Right now, yeah, so far no question. Right. So challenges for any industries, like of course, the challenges are everywhere, and nowadays after coronavirus, the challenges are even more. It has to be very competitive. Uh, we all are, skeptical about like the manpower will be reduced, because many of the manpower, they may go to the villages, they may not come back easily and immediately, and there will be a shortage of manpower, or the cost of manpower will be increased. So there are so many things. Now we have to very smart, and we have to be very active, proactive rather, in order to reduce the cost. So we have to work very hard, and at this time, this technology is what we have to leverage on that. Because technology, nowadays, many IT industries, they have started working from home, and the infrastructure is created in a similar way. So now future will be, as soon as we adopt the technology, we can take the challenge head on for the future. So the other problem with the current scenario is that the data which we gather, it's inaccurate, because most of the data is collected manually. We collect data manually, and it is in sometimes it's manipulated, sometimes it's unintentionally wrong. And the accuracy of the data is not only the data value, it's about the time at which the data is taken, that is very critical. So if suppose someone takes say voltage value at say 12 o'clock, and some fault has happened, because of which one machine is broken down. So at 12:15, so if he has taken the data at 12, and if he has mentioned that it was taken at 12:15, so the correlation will be wrong. So it has to be very accurate. So accuracy of the time at which that data is taken, the value of the data, which is very important, and the mapping. So if I have say 20 machines or 200 machines, if I do a mistake taking data of one machine, and if I mention it for another machine, that is completely inaccurate data. And many a times, because it's so repeatable, in industry, if you ask an operator to take, for example, the energy data every half an hour or 15 minutes, so it's a bit cumbersome. You may see that, like, after every 10, 15 minute readings, he may put some reading by himself. If he sees that there is no difference, so he may just manipulate the data. This is a human tendency. How we all work. If it is the repeatable task, it's no more, very what I call is like rewarding. So you tend to manipulate the things, and the inaccuracy will be introduced in the system. And it's cumbersome also. Like, if you have distributed a big plant, going everywhere, collecting data and recording it, and submitting it at a central location is very cumbersome. And converting that data into the digital format in order to analyze, that is another problem. So there are many challenges. So these are the challenges of the manufacturing we have already discussed. Now we come to the real-time monitoring of the similar thing. This is a holistic approach, where when we say holistic, it means that it's a it's as a combined, all of things. We try to gather as much as the production data and energy data, and human, how many people were there, who was there. So all the data, if we have that thing, so in a central repository, we can approach, we can have better data analytics, and optimize the information efficiently. So this is our sample dashboard of the system, which will be having a demo very soon. Uh, Now, when we are monitoring any power data, I mean, I'm talking about the electrical power only. There are, I mean, not only for electrical power, for anything, there are two type of parameters. One is instantaneous, another is cumulative or aggregated. Now, uh, in case of electrical energy, so instantaneous parameters are voltage and current, so power factor or the load. So these are instantaneous parameters. So if you see any machine, how much current it is drawing, or the voltage which is supplied, so that's a instantaneous parameter. But when we are going to talk about the energy, it's a cumulative parameter. So in the day, how much energy is being consumed. Voltage, we can just see that, I mean, sometimes it's a 220, another 221, next time it may be 219, 200, whatever. So, but in case of energy, it will always be increasing. So what it is doing is, so if we have taken energy value at 10 o'clock, and if we are taking at 10:15, so the energy value will be the energy consumed within 10:15 and 10 o'clock, that will be added to the energy value. So we keep on increasing that value. So this is an aggregated or the cumulative value. Similarly, we have water flow, or any flow measurement. So flow is an instantaneous parameter. At any point of time, we can just see that what is the flow of water flow, what is the flow of oil. So this will be in LPM or LPS, or liters per minute, turn per liter. But when we use totalizer, so totalizer will tell you like how much water is being consumed throughout the day, or throughout the shift, or throughout that 1 hour. So in this case, we have separated both of these things in a similar way. So the on the top of that, I mean, one thing I would like to tell, like, this is a sample UI, user interface dashboard. Uh, uh, this has so many different variation by which, I mean, we can present the information now in a very accurate and very desirable format. So on top, you will just see that these are the accumulated parameter, like for 1 day, how much energy is being consumed, what has been the average power factor, and these are all instantaneous parameter. So at certain time, what was my load, what was my current, what was my voltage at all the three phases. So all these things will be shown on the same dashboard. Now this is what I was talking about, the difference between the data and the information. Now if I see this particular data, so so now the data is like, I mean, if I the information which we are seeing here, so we have 6 plus 9 plus 6 7 8 graphs, right? So if I start putting that information in a tabular format, that may be, I mean, in Excel it may consume, say, some 9,000 rows, 10,000 rows, and getting a value out of that data is very difficult. You have to present into a graphical format. So the moment you plot into graphical format, it is converted into the information, and that is what is required. So one question here is, in one organization we don't have SAP, how we can integrate data in with our system. So in case if you don't have any SAP, one of the system is like, I mean, some units, some manufacturing units, they use Google Sheets, which is a internet available platform. We can get data integrated with the Google Sheets. So if you are using reporting MIS, then we can get the data integrated with the Google Sheet. Or if you have any other format of MIS, so it could be like, we will provide, if you don't have any other mechanism like Google Sheet or ERP or anything, we will provide you one platform where you can just download the report in your desired format. So coming back to the data, so I was talking about the instantaneous cumulative parameter. So throughout in your industry, you can segregate your data in either of these two things. Like if you have a textile mill, you will know what is my production rate of the cloth which is produced, and what is the total cloth. I mean the total weight of the cloth which is produced. That is an aggregated value. So at any point of time, both of these things are important. The cumulative value is important from the 20,000 feet view. So if I have to take report for the daily basis or the shift basis, I would be more interested in the cumulative value, where I would like to see. But if I see that today total energy consumption was very high, or the total uh, oil consumption was very high, or the compressed air consumption was very high, I have to look into the history of the instantaneous parameter. What made this consumption go make high? So if we are talking about the fuel for your throughout the day, and if we have data of every 1 minute or every 10 second, we can analyze better. So once we'll just have this, I call it as 20,000 feet view, where we can just in a single glance we can just see that how much has been the cost of running the operation, and then I can dig into the detail and I can get more information. So the other question is, can we get data of electrical parameter every minute? Yes, we can get data every minute, or we can get data even at a higher frequency. This is based on your use cases. Uh, if your data frequency is high, I mean, then definitely the more the data, the system will consume more memory. But if it helps your operation, if it helps you in analyzing your data, then yes, I mean, we can have even at a better frequency than 1 minute. So this is another view of, I mean, anyway, we'll have a demo for this system. And now, as I was telling about the historical view, the main feature of this platform is we can, of course, I mean, we can see this instantaneous value, which is online, and at the same time, we can have this historical value from the same platform. Uh, so this is one of the use cases which we generally have in industry. This is representation of data again, where you want to compare. So if you have two compressors, you want to compare how both the compressors were doing, I mean, how it has been used. So both of the compressors, we can generate this energy consumption throughout the day. We can compare at what time. For example, this is our time where the compressed air consumption was the highest, and what was the contribution of compressor 1 and what was the contribution of compressor 2. So this will be helpful not only in not just for the energy point of view, but for your utilization of your machines. And at the same time, I mean, this is one graph where we are drawing comparison between the energy consumption. On the second graph, we can have the comparison between the run hour. So if we see that compressor 1 is running, say, for 20 hours out of 24 hours, and compressor 2 is running for 22 hours out of 24 hours, and the energy consumption of 22 hours while a compressor is low, so we can take decision also. So when we have similar type of machines, so I mean, which provide the same functionality, and if we can compare the data of these two machines, we can set a benchmark. And if we have to take a call that this machine should be used more frequently than this one, or if that machine is getting replaced by the higher efficiency machine, I mean, if we have to spend some capex, we can take decision very fast. Another question is, can we record electrical consumption for individual machine? Yes, we can do that. All the electrical machines consumption can be recorded separately, and here I would like to add that there are three parameters which we should record for each machine. One is the uh, total energy consumed by that machine during the shift, and total run hour. Run hour is like how many hours that machine has run, and the third is the production parameter, like how many pieces it has produced. So if we have all that data, we can have a baseline, as I already mentioned. So that will be baseline of the specific energy consumption. So producing one product, how much energy is being consumed. So if we have a baseline, that particular information will keep you information about the performance of the machine. It's not just for the energy consumption point of view, but also for the health of the machine. So if, for example, today benchmarking of my one particular machine is, say, zero point 0.1 unit per piece produced, right? And tomorrow, if I say after say 3 months or 4 months, if I start seeing that the energy consumption, the specific energy consumption is getting increased from 0.1 to 0.11 or 0.12, so there is something wrong either in the process, or there is something wrong in the machine. So there could be a maintenance which is required, or the wearing is more. So we can analyze the data. We can troubleshoot the problem easily. There is one more question: is any special equipment need to get the data? Yes. There is a special equipment. For most of the cases, like there are panel meters which support communication. So panel meters, there are two options. One is like one of the product which we provide. It has an integrated energy meter and the communication medium together. It talks to the server directly. We don't need to have any intermediate device. The other one is, there are many energy meters which are provided by companies like HPL, Schneider, and Secure, and these companies. They do provide RS485 communication medium. We can get it connected through these thing, and then get the data collected. The only problem with these meters is, like, we can get only the specific data only. If you want more data, there are various options within the same manufacturer, but that will add the cost. Answer your question. Now, let's discuss about the architecture of the entire system. So these are the machines where we get the data through using any type of sensors. It could be electrical, mechanical, any type of sensors, and then it's collected in the server. And from the server, we have we can get it integrated with the ERP, or we can put it in the analytical server. And now the job of analytical server is to convert data into analysis. So the data into the information. Now that information is what is very useful for the plant head, or the supervisor, or the maintenance head. He can start working based on that analytical report, and more and more data is useful for that analytical server, but not for the user. So user does not want to look into the more of data. It is very cumbersome. It's of no use. Yes, of course. Once user sees that there is some problem, and if he wants to dig into the problem, that more data will be required that time. So he can go into the detail of that data. As one of the user asked, like, if we can get data every 1 minute, if their process requires the data which may be required to analyze every, say, 30 seconds, so we can get data every 30 seconds also. slightly different part. Like, I mean, this is the equipment effectiveness model. That also is another way of, smart factory automation. Um, like, I mean, it's like we have this overall equipment effectiveness. This effectiveness of the equipment is determined by availability, productivity, and quality. Now we are going to I mean, integrate this energy as well. So it's a four way of, optimization. So effectiveness is like uh, this availability of a machine, like, I mean, how much time it was under breakdown, for what time this machine was available to the operator. The second one is like, what is the efficiency of the operator by which he's producing the, I mean, is there any are there any minor breakdowns, or, minor stoppages, because of which the productivity is not achieved. The third one is, even operator is efficiently producing, but the quality product is not being produced. So if you are having low quality product, so that is a concern. So all these things. Now, I mean, what we are adding it is the energy effectiveness as well. So how much this process is designed for energy consumption, so that can also be integrated with this. Uh, I don't think that, I mean, we need to discuss the benefits. We all know that the benefits are multifold. If we can say increase the power factor of the machines, or the, the utility, I mean, uh, power supply, we can reduce the current consumption, and this reliability of the system. I mean, we all know the commercial aspect. I'm not going into the detail of that. I'm just going to talk about what are the bonuses. I mean, these are the, major advantages, but the bonuses are like, I mean, if we have, low consumption by our cables, we will have more reliable you know uh, of a reliable system. And at the same time, if we see that, I mean, the harmonic distortion was high, so we can reduce our, breakdowns of the failures of the electronic equipment. If the load was unbalanced, definitely it will, the neutral current will be more. And, I mean, the system reliability, or the, safety is getting compromised. So we can reduce all the safety, we can increase the safety and the reliability of the plant. So these are the fringe benefit, or indirect benefits, which we are getting by having the energy monitoring system. The third one would be the you know calculating the cost effectively, or, I mean, if we have to take decision whether we should go for alternative source, uh, like solar, or, I mean, we have this time of day billing, how much production, or what all the critical thing, which we can move to the, lean period where the energy cost is very low. So all that, calculation we can do. So, and of course, the third one is like, if we have, efficient machine, if we have bought new generation machine, everything is there. But if somehow there is some problem in, mechanical wear, and because of that, energy consumption is increased. So it will give us an indication that, I mean, this has breached its baseline. Energy consumption is getting increased. So we should look into the maintenance part of that. So this accountability and benchmarking is very, very important. Until we know that what are the benchmark for certain machines or the certain process, we cannot control. I mean, it is very highly uh, recommended. That's it for the presentation. So please feel free, if you have any question, please type in the chat box.